Hi, Chris Duff at Serious Land Capital, vacant land funding partner. And so today I wanted to reflect on a conversation I was having with very trusted land investor, local here in Austin, um, and trying to suss out how their acquisitions have been going, especially after the holidays and, to start the new year. Like I mentioned in a previous episode, we're trying to revamp marketing efforts as, last quarter had slowed down as far as funding leads were concerned. And, a lot of that was our fault for not continuing with the existing, more diligent marketing efforts, but, also just wondering, hey, there aren't as many outbound leads. To reach out to anyway here too. So just trying to understand the market. And, this other land investor was just mentioning that, especially the last couple weeks of December were not particularly productive from a lead perspective. I guess from a texting side it was, but less so from cold calling. And so, they're trying to ramp things back up. So that kind of aligns with what we were suspecting, at least from an outbound lead perspective for the funding business. But a bigger change of note, and this is something that we were already paying attention to, but it seems to only be strengthening, is that the percentage of deals that land investors are pursuing that are a wholesale, where you're trying to set up a double close or transactional deal, is only increasing. And, this particular land investor was mentioning, I forget the exact time frame. It might have been last couple months or few months, but was saying that I think out of 24 deals they had sourced, that only 2 of them were set for, full on purchases, for a typical flip, and the rest were set up for wholesale. So that aligns with what we have been hearing. Again, it's, if the overall market has become more competitive in terms of outreach to sellers. So if you're having people, various land investors who are making their bread by just doing wholesale deals, and the sellers kind of get used to that, then it starts to dry up the market for the traditional flips, just because, you're going to be outcompeted from a pricing standpoint, which is what most sellers will care about, especially if the investor has a solid dispo system. They're going to be paying the price where it's like, okay, I'm not going to get money today, but I might get a higher check. So especially you get to some of these more valuable deals, 100K purchase price plus, oftentimes the sellers will just be a little less motivated from a speed perspective. And we might even overvalue that particular motivation for many sellers. Anyway, here I know Ajay was talking about that a bit more recently, just really plugging in to figure out what the true motivation is for a seller. So that is something that's, pretty glaring and, obviously of interest to us because, most of our business runs off funding traditional flips, but it's more of an industry-wide phenomenon to be focused more on wholesale deals. Then yes, we can assist from a transactional deal perspective in states that don't, or, title companies that don't allow like a true double close. And, even some of these regulations that have come in to make double closes more tricky to deal with. Obviously, there's still a market for them. We'll see how that continues on. You just have to adapt to wherever the market is going. But yeah, this was a very insightful conversation because now I really have to consider, okay, doing all these marketing efforts to try to grow our business. But if the overall funnel is getting much slimmer for flip deals, do we have to source some of our own potential double closes, or again, just shift more into higher value asset plays that require more value add to them, but still relying upon our underlying expertise in assessing land valuations. So yeah, you might hear some of the hesitation in my voice here, just because it's a lot to reflect on, and I think the market's going to continue to evolve, and yeah, that's just nature of being a startup and a small business owner, is that every year it's going to be a bit different, especially nowadays with the rapid tech advancements. You got to stay on your toes, and you can't get too complacent. Otherwise, yeah, the market's going to change on you, and you might just be outcompeted or have an outdated model. And we've seen this a few times, even since we've entered into the land sphere in late 2019, just been through multiple different types of markets and shifts of business model and so forth here. And yeah, I know that's when a lot of land businesses started, was, similar time frame as us or after. And you have this larger shift of operators, it can kind of start changing the entire industry for everybody who's operating within it. So definitely something to note. It's an evolving situation, something, it's a top priority for us to figure out. And I'll be commenting more on this as, we continue to investigate further. Again, we'll see how things come. Marketing efforts, it is still, barely after the holidays, less than 2 weeks after the holidays. And a lot of leads can come in, bad weather around the country. This is generally not the highest volume time of year anyway, from acquisitions or dispo side. Pending how the next few weeks go, it could, dramatically shift our focus areas within our own business. Fortunately, we're still extremely well capitalized. Our dispo systems are very solid. We have, industry leading expertise when it comes to underwriting. So we feel confident in our ability to shift to where the market is heading and adjust accordingly. But yeah, that's just the nature of being a business owner, regardless of how big you are, evolve or die. With that, just recall, if you are looking for funding, seriousland.capital, you can read our FAQ there on what we typically look for. Landpricer.ai if you are looking for assistance in pricing your land deals as accurately and simply as possible. And the Land Daily Diligence group on Facebook for any deals that you want a zero cost review on, regardless of whether you want funding or not, Mondays and Thursdays. This has been a really interesting journey so far. Starting this podcast, it fills me with some extra energy, and it just, again, kind of forces a level of focus every day to really be thinking hard about my business and where we're going. And I believe that it's really going to pay off internally for many years to come. With that, take care, everybody. Bye.